Hi everyone, welcome back to Sew with Shande. I made this two-piece top and short, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how I made this top. Okay, it has a ruched effect at the shoulder here, just as you can see. So you can achieve this with 2.5 to 3 yards of Ankara fabric depending on your size. Okay, I'll drop the link of the shorts in the comment section and also in the description box so you can check it out. Without wasting much of our time, let's get started. Okay, so here is the fabric I'm going to be making use of, and I have it here already. Then I'm also going to be making use of this smoky thread. I hope you all know how to fix it. Okay, so now I have my fabric on a fold of 2. In order for you to know what to fold, just fold your bust round divided by 4, and you can add from 3 inches to 4 to 5 inches depending on how big you want it to be. Do you understand? So here I have it on a fold of 2, and I'm going to start taking my measurements. Okay, so I'm going to mark my ½ inch starting line up on this part here. Once I'm done with that, I'll mark my neck width of 3 inches. I'll mark it like so. Then I'll mark the length of my blouse. So the length of the blouse I worked with is about 25 inches. I'll mark the 25 inches here, and I'll mark it right here, as you can see. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to mark my 1 inch for hem allowance right here. Okay, once I'm through with that, I'll come up here 3 inches for my neck width, and the neck depth, because it's a v-neck, I'll be coming down by 8 inches. Okay, so you can mark your preferred neck depth. All right, then I'll come here and I'll just connect the lines from the 8 inches to the 3 inches for my neck width. All right, once I'm through with that, what I'm going to do now is to mark my shoulder. I'm going to be using the entire length that I have here for my shoulder length. Okay, then I'll just mark about ½ inch on this part here, because I'm going to be adding another fabric, so I'll mark ½ inch here. Okay, so if you want to turn it, just leave about 1 inch here. Okay, so then I'll mark my shoulder slope of 1 inch. Then I'll connect it to the 3 inches neck width. Okay, so once I'm through with that, now I'll mark my armhole opening, the sleeve opening. So I marked about 11 inches here. Okay, so you can mark your preferred armhole depth. Okay, then I'll extend the line all the way to the other part like so. Okay, so once I'm through with that, you're going to mark your under bust length. Mark exactly your under bust length on this part here. Okay, so after marking that, from the under bust length, I'll come down by 3 inches, and I'll also come down by 3 inches on this side as well. I'll connect the lines. So once I'm done connecting the lines like so, I'll mark in about ½ inch inside the 3 inches. Okay, so I'm going to be having about 6 ½ inches inside these 3 inches that I have here. Okay, just divide it into 6, and I'm going to have like 6 ½ inches. So you can still make it tiny if you want. You can divide it into 10. You can divide it into any amount you want. So I divided mine into 6. Okay, so you can divide it to make it more tinier and fuller. All right, so once I'm done with this now, the next thing I'm going to do is to come here and come to the bust area here, and I'll just mark my bust round plus about 4 inches. Okay, so I placed it on the armhole line here, and I mark my bust round plus 4 inches. So you can mark whatever you want, how big you want it to be at the bust area. All right, so I'll mark the same value at the hemline here. Okay, so once I'm done marking that, I'm just going to connect these lines like so. All right, so just connect it with a straight line like this, and I am going to come to this part here, to the armhole depth here, which is my also my bust line here. I'll come down by 4 inches here. So I'll just curve it, just make a curve around this part here. Okay, so once I'm done with that, then I'm done with the front part. So I'm going to cut it out now. I'm going to cut it out with 1 inch sewing allowance right here, and I'll cut it out here on the neckline with ½ inch sewing allowance, and also on the shoulder line with ½ inch sewing allowance. Okay, so I'm going to remove this excess as well, and I'll cut it out like so. Then I'm going to place exactly another part like this for the back part, exactly what I have on the front part. The measurement that I have before, I've cut it. I'm going to just place it on this like this, and I'm going to extend this line. I'm going to extend the ½ inch that I came up by, ½ inch allowance to join. That is the line that I'm extending, not the actual line. Okay, I marked the ½ inch that I came up by. Then I'm going to come down from that mark with 1 inch for my back neck depth. Okay, I hope you understand. So this way now I've already added the ½ inch that I added to the front part, so I'm just going to cut out from the 1 inch that I came down by. Okay, so I hope you understand. So I'm just going to cut it like this, and I'll also cut out the sleeve area, the shoulder area like so. Then I'm going to come here and I'll mark this line exactly the way I have it on the front part. I'll also mark it at the back part as well. I'm making sure that I'm marking it correctly with the same way we have it in the front part. Okay, so just indicate it like that. And once I'm through with that, I've cut out a facing for the back, so you can cut out your facing like this, and I'm also going to cut out another one like this for the front part. Okay, so you can weave the edges of your facing before stitching down. So the width of my facing is about 4 inches, and the depth here after the neckline is about 5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to, you can fold the edges here, and you can also weave it. Okay, so if you do not have your weaving machine around, you just fold towards the wrong side like so, and fold the edges of the facing, just fold it like so. And once you're done, just fold it up on the other side till, and also the back as well. Okay, so here's what I have after folding. I'm just placed it right side facing each other like so. Then I am just going to pin it down, the right side facing each other. Then I'm going to stitch with ½ inch to the V neckline. Okay, and I'll repeat the same thing for the back piece like so. Place the facing right side facing each other. Okay, then I'll come to this place with my smoking thread, and I'm going to stitch into the lines that I have marked. Okay, I'll repeat the same process for the back parts. So here is the back part, and this is what the facing looks like. Then I'll repeat the same process with my smoking thread for this part as well. So here is what I have after I was done, and I've done the same thing to the other parts. All right, so I'm going to place them on each other like so, right side facing each other. Then I will match the shoulder line together like so, and I'm going to stitch down with ½ inch all the way down, stitch down with ½ inch here, and I'm going to repeat the same thing for this other side as well. Okay, I hope you understand. So once I'm through with that, and I'm going to come to my sleeve area here, I have this fabric here which the length is about 5 inches. Okay, and so to get the width, I'm going to measure what I have here on my sleeve opening here, and what I have here is about 22 inches. So I cut out this fabric of about 25 inches length because I want it to be bigger. So I fold the edges with ½ inch, and I have 2 inches left. All right, so I'm just going to mark the midpoint of this one that I have cut out here, and I'll open it up like this and place the midpoint of my shoulder on the mark that I just marked. Then I'm just going to cover it up like so, and I'm going to put it in between this extension that I have here. I'll just put it in between it, and you can pin it down if you want to. Just pin it down like so, and I'm just going to start stitching at the edges like so, like a top stitch. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I'm going to come here and I will measure from this part here where this sleeve extension started from, I will measure what I have in there till the end, till the part where there's facing, okay, till the starting point of this facing here. So just measure what I have there. So what I have there is about 12 inches, okay. Do not measure into the facing, okay. 12 inches. So I've cut out my elastic of 7 inches. All right, so this is totally depending on how ruched you want this part to be. It will determine the length of your elastic. So just pin it down on this part here, and also pin it down at the starting of the facing like this. Then you are going to just drag it like this, and you're going to stitch on the elastic here, okay. I hope you understand. So to give us our ruched effect. All right, so once I'm done with that, this is what I have. You can see what it looks like now, and this is what it looks like on the right side, okay. So once I'm done with that, I'm just going to fold the sides like this, and I'm going to stitch down with my 1 inch allowance like so, and I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. Then I'll come to the hem here, and I'll fold in with our 1 inch allowance all the way all around. And that is the end of our top tutorial. So if you find this video helpful, please kindly give my video a thumbs up, and you can support me through my super thanks in order to encourage me to make more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and like I said earlier, I'm going to show you how I make this short. I already have the video on it, so let me know what you think about this top. So the short has a side pocket, and let me know what you think about it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I am going to see you on my next video. Bye.